Pardon, this may not be terribly exciting to you, but I'm going to talk shop with you. My fellow artists, and I had a lot of you, I will talk shop with you. Okay. Now here's the deal. I work mostly in acrylic. I started painting with oil. First paintings, maybe first 50 paintings I did, that's a lot of paintings with oil. I started painting with oil as soon as, in high school. My teacher said, here's oil, and I just said, oh, oil, yay. And we weren't, acrylic, I don't know. It didn't seem like we were working with acrylic. It seems like we worked with watercolor and oil. But anyway, when I did start using acrylic, I used techniques that I had used with oil, which is kind of cool because I don't think that a lot of acrylic artists use techniques that they would use with. I use a lot of washes, just really tons of sheer washes over things, and kind of makes it look like it's oil or something. But anyway, I'm not going into that. This is just a couple of things that I have come upon in my recent work. Okay, I have a new gig on this large canvas. It is 4 feet by 3 feet, and it's going to be a large canvas of Douglas Fairbanks for a new, my friend is a designer, designing, I believe, the showrooms of new luxury apartment building in West Hollywood, and this has been commissioned for that showroom. That I'm gonna meet with Peter tomorrow. We're gonna look at the site because I want this to work really well for them. I want it to be really beautiful in the site, and I want it to be no less or no more than what they want it to be because I'm a professional. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Let me tell you this. I need a weenie roller because I'm gonna roll this out. I roll my canvases out when I'm doing portraits that are dark, and I work from a burnt umber out, from like a deep dark walnut brown out. It just, you can just kind of go in and carve it out that way. I don't know, that's just what I started doing really early on because I don't know, I just thought, well, I want them to be dark and moody. Let's start with dark and moody. But anyway, these are the only 2 paint rollers that I could find in the house, and I don't know where I got them or with what armature I used them, but this is, yeah, not happening. I don't know. Do I have another one that's got little, I don't know, because I can't find it, so I have to order some from Amazon. They'll be here in the morning, so I can get that going. Okay, something I really wanted to tell you that I discovered that you all probably discovered 100 years ago. Paint markers. Don't get me wrong. I used a lot of those, I'm going to just say it, really shitty deco paint, whatever, gold paint markers. They were fun. I used them, but they were oil paint. They were messy. Never got more than one use out of them. Anyway, I experimented for the first time. A few past maybe 4 paintings I've done, I have used some paint markers in them to, I've used white and black. You don't see them in the paintings as white or black. It's just, I do a lot of undercoating with whites. And black, the black is great because you can just go in and just crispen up an edge if you want, and you just run your finger down it. It's just like perfect. Anyway, but I was like, well, now I don't want to ever just do the whole thing with markers. Now my 14-year-old goddaughter, Pippa, is brilliant, and she's had, she gets these big sets of markers, and they're like 172 colors. And yeah, if I were 14, that'd be great, but I don't want 172 colors. I want the colors that I work with as an artist, and not a lot of them are really flashy, like primary colors or secondary colors. I want, so I went to the art store yesterday. I went to the Blick store to get my canvas and to stock up on paints that I need for this project and things that I was generally out of in the studio. It's a cup of coffee, and I'm gonna have one little sip. Way too late in the day to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. Just a touch, it just tasted good. Okay, so here's the thing. I went to Blick yesterday, and I'm I like the people who work there. They know what they're talking about. It says that they're artists. It says our salespeople, sales clerks are artists themselves, so they know. And I think that they are. I really do. But anyway, I was all dressed up. I looked cute. No, it's the day before yesterday. You saw that little outfit. I looked cute. Anyway, this lady was helping me, and she was possibly older than I am, and she was, nice enough, but a little bit. She was just talking down to me a little bit, because I was like, can you tell me something about the paint markers? Because I like the acrylic markers, and these say that they're oil, and these say that they're acrylic, and these say they're paint, and these say they're ink. And she said, well, she didn't say it in a snooty way. She said, they're all ink. They're all acrylic ink, because you couldn't just get acrylic paint to do this. You can't just get them to do this. What was she showing me? Something, like this. This is a black one. Anyway, she was actually using to mark her stuff one that was like red or something. But anyway, so she showed me to the cases, and it was killing me because it was all confusing. The colors were all weird. There wasn't any color that was classically named to match an actual color. They were all like Midnight Oasis and Dry Cannon. And I'm like, could you just have like a yellow ochre, raw umber, like that? That'd be great. Well, anyway, she showed me. She said no, unfortunately. Anyway, the thing was that she was being a little condescending to me. Just not meaning to, but being a little condescending. Just kind of in the way she was like, you're so stupid that you... And I said, look, please forgive me for even saying this, but I just want you to know this. This marker thing is new for me, but I'm a professional artist all my life, and I kind of have a little bit of clout in this town. And she went, oh, I understand. And she just said, come here. And she gave me every thought she ever had on it. And then she okay. So we managed to find one brown marker, because I have plenty of black and white. So, one brown, and then she shows me these other things, so you can get these. These are paint markers that you fill with the acrylic ink of your choice. And you can get the Liquitex acrylic ink in the same colors that you get Liquitex acrylic paints in. So, here's transparent burnt sienna. I also got transparent raw sienna. I don't need a lot of red and stuff. I did it just because it was so yummy. How do you pronounce Quinacridone magenta? I don't know, but this is a yummy blue red. It's like a magenta. It makes me very happy. It makes me really happy. And so then I came home. And I spent a lot of money and stuff. And I bought some that I didn't need to. Like I got, why did I think, oh, I'll just get a gold one, a metallic gold. Because I use so much metallic. No, I don't use metallic gold in my paintings. But I got one. It cost $14. That was stupid. I didn't even realize it until I got home and looked at it, and I didn't need that. But when I did get home, I went online. And I thought, because she said don't look for anybody yet. They haven't, aside from doing it that way, that they're not going to come out with the mark. Because they do honestly believe that if you sell a set of acrylic markers, you're selling them to a 12-year-old who just wants to draw like unicorns and zebras and like camouflage and stuff like that. The kids too. But then I found these 22 acrylic paint pens on Amazon Pro Color Series. Look, it doesn't look real flashy or anything, but it's assorted brown tones. I'm not going to open them yet, but I'm going to tell you what I love about this. It costs quite a lot. What I thought it cost quite a lot, but you know what? No, it wasn't for what you ended up getting. Very cost effective. And then something very great that I've never seen on any of the paint markers. Dip clogged nibs in a cup of hot water and swirl around for several seconds. Test and repeat until paint flows again. But it also tells you, after each use, keep the nibs clean by wiping with a wet paper towel. If not using for over 2 weeks, pull out the nibs and clean with water to prevent them from drying out. Now, this is the Ultra Nova Achiever Pack. This is what I want in all things. I want them to tell you what you're getting, to describe them, and then tell you how to keep them functioning correctly. Because my other paint markers, I think I got a little better with the blacks and whites. I was like, okay, I can use you one time, because when I close you and come back, you'll be all dried up. So I've got to do all of it right now. That's how it was. But I think I'm learning about it. Anyway, as I said, I don't ever hope to execute an entire work in these. And if I had to, that'd be okay. But I'll tell you something, just using a little bit of the black and white in the paintings that I've used them for has been a really fun, a really, really nice, it's been a really nice experience. Because, I do a lot of undercoating with white. See, that's the thing. And people go, oh, how do you do? I do a lot of white undercoating. If it's going to be like a highlight, you just go in with straight white, heavy as you can. Just make it white as shit, right? And then when that's dry, then you go in and you glaze over that with a very light, bright version of whatever color the piece as a whole is supposed to be. So, like, if I'm doing a big dark green, foliage, like Lost in the Trees and stuff, I go with a very dark green, a medium dark green, just lay everything out, and then they get a really, really dark green. And but in some areas where I want the light to just hit it, you just take a pure, heavy white, and you just, I don't know, what would you call it? You just sparkle it with the white, right? Just everywhere you want it to be. Then when that's dry, you go back and you just go over the whites with just a wash of a really bright chartreuse, yellow actually, a little more yellow than green. You do that over it, and when you stand back, it has popped right off the wall. It's like, hello, I'm alive. Springtime has come. At least that's how it works with mine. And they say I have a way, okay? They say I have a way of pushing and pulling the scenery. And I know a lot of people do. But, okay, when I was doing Clifton's, like the owner, they were over there because there's a huge hole. Not a hole, but, there's a tree being built in the middle of this huge space. And I'm painting over here, and the owner's over there. And they're watching me on my first, second, third, fourth day. Because here was the situation. They had hired and fired and hired and fired and hired and fired and hired and fired artists to do the murals. In fact, the artist that ended up being my assistant. But I'm going to tell you something. He's way as gifted as I. He's just a little different bent. But the thing was, he had done a great deal of that mural as he had been directed, and then other people would come in and mess with it. But I saw pictures of his, and it was pretty damn good. And then, the owner said, white it out, start from scratch, new artist, tune. And they brought me in, and I just... I've said a prayer to myself, not out in public like I'm a member of Trump's cabinet or any of his press secretary and them bitches, but, to myself, God, let me do a good job here. Please let me do a good job. So I got up there and started painting, and I started obliterating first. It's kind of cool because the layout was on that part was just perfect. I didn't really have to worry about laying out. I was just changing shapes and colors and just obliterating something. And I was up there I was on the second day, and the owner came up and he said, could I see something like, and I said, as soon as I'm finished obliterating this, I'll give you what you want. And he was like, okay. And very formal, very formal. I hadn't been hired by him. I had been hired by my friends who were hired by him. And I didn't deal with him at first at all. But he was over there watching, and then it was about third day, and he was like, Jesus, did you see what he did? He just did something, that whole wall, and the whole damn thing opened up, and now we can walk into the forest. This is the guy we want for this job. I hope you understand what that meant. It meant just what it said. My work is transformative. When I put my heart into it. It transforms you. It puts you someplace differently. And that's why I got to do so many fun murals that provide such ambiance at Clifton's Republic on Broadway in downtown LA. That is what put me on the map in LA, and it put me there. I'm actually on the map in LA, even though I'm semi-retired right now. But anyway, this is a great job and a public job in my studio, like I like to do. And I hope I can do a really, really good job of it for my friend. I go see the site tomorrow. Oh, wait. I was going to show you one more thing. You can keep you on here for 20 minutes if it's at all interesting. Okay, so this is the thing. I want to tell you, when I did my last gig at Clifton's, which started like a year ago, I had to go to Mann Brothers, which is a paint company here, and I had to stock up on all of the Mann Brothers studio colors of, what's it called? Is it Varabond, which is the coolest, flattest, most brilliant latex color you have ever seen. It's a latex house paint, studio paint. But listen, I fell in love with it the first time I ever worked with it. And now I like to keep it. And what I do is I have these tons of these condiment. I use these condiment containers, pardon me, and I like to keep one of each of the colors, and I have like, oh gosh, the colors are so great. I've got a school bus yellow, and I've got a Hansa light yellow, and like a medium green, true burnt umber, carbon black, and this is fire red. This color's magical. If you have white paint, you put one dot in it, it becomes the most beautiful peachy pink you ever saw in your life. Anyway, I'm just telling you what I do and how I do stuff. So I'm very excited because I've really gotten low on some of them, and I got some new containers, and I'm gonna have my moment tomorrow after I go see Peter. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna be very organized, and I'm going to transfer painting from gallon buckets. I'm gonna open those up very patiently, funnel them into new containers like this so that I can more easily use them in my works of art for people of the world. And I think that's about all we got, and I'm gonna go. I hope y'all have a really good day. And this might be really bad. If it's really bad, you'll never see it, because I just don't post them when they're bad. Bye.